It's time for your Friday Fail Story. Yeah. So everybody in these stories thought they had the perfect plan, but somewhere along the line, oh boy,
Yeah?
that plan went completely sideways.
Yeah?
And it went from that perfect plan to an Uber, an ultra,
Yeah?
dare I say it,
Don't you dare.
mega.
Get hyped, guys!
Failed.
Whoa. Man.
You sounded great, boss.
Yeah, what happened there? That happened. Your Friday Fail Stories are sponsored by
Moritz Royce Jewelry, the official jeweler of the Rizzuto Show.
So this is about as close as you're going to get to being arrested for shooting somebody in a dream. So,
I'm sorry, what?
yeah, well, wait. 62-year-old guy in Illinois, Mark DeCara, was sleeping recently when he dreamed that somebody was breaking into his house. In real life, he grabbed his .357 Magnum, which was at his bedside, and shot at the intruder. But there was no intruder. That was only in his dream.
Okay.
In reality, he shot himself
Oh, my God.
in the leg.
What?
Yep. Police were called. He was taken to the hospital. He was treated and released. But for Mark, it wasn't just his leg. He had another problem. You see, Mark had a revoked FOID card, which allows gun owners to have firearms in Illinois. So he was charged with possession of a firearm without a valid license and reckless discharge of a firearm. Both are felonies.
Dang.
Failed.
That'll do it.
Whoops.
Got a phone call from Plexico Burris.
Oh, remember, he had his gun in his waistband
In the club.
in a club wearing sweatpants.
Didn't go well. Didn't end well.
No. People put their money in banks to keep it safe. But if you steal money from a bank, you don't have anywhere safe to put it, right?
Right.
You get that?
Yeah.
Old Folgers
It's at your
can.
house.
Mattresses.
So a man from Minnesota named Alan Duncan was just arrested for a series of robberies in Chicago a couple months back. He got away with more than $8,000, and for some reason, he left the loot in the getaway car, which he'd parked outside a homeless shelter. Then somebody stole that car. The police discovered it abandoned with the engine running and a door open, and there was red dye stains from an exploited dye pack all over the interior.
Right.
So Alan told the police that he'd loaned the car to some guy named CJ, and he'd never returned it. But the police think that was a lie to cover up the robberies. That's because Alan was caught on a recorded call telling his brother that the car was stolen when he got back into town, and he had $12,000 in there. Alan believes the thieves didn't know about the cash, which he had in a suitcase, but they did find it and they took off with it. For now, Alan has only been charged with one of the robberies, but he's connected to the second one. And if he had the $12,000 in the car, the two robberies were only about $8,000. It's possible there were other crimes. So,
Failed.
yep,
And I think CJ stands for carjack.
that happened. Flight attendant for an Argentine airline has been accused of calling in a bomb threat to keep her ex-boyfriend with his new lover, both airline crew, from flying together to Miami.
Wow.
Yeah, 47-year-old Daniela Carbone arrested at the airport in Buenos Aires last month after she called in the threat on her daughter's cell phone using voice-altering software. The message said, quote, "Tell the captain that we planted 3 bombs in Miami, stop effing with politics, and check the plane because they're going to fly into 1,000 pieces."
Wow.
So authorities seized 2 iPhones and found search info for, quote, how to investigate audio, and, quote, can you analyze an audio to find out whose voice it is, and active voice recognition.
Wow, so she thought of everything except for how stupid this is.
Yep. She is looking at 6 years in jail.
Failed.
Ouch.
So there's a proverb that says, burn not your house to fright the mouse away. It means don't take extreme measures to get rid of something trivial. A 22-year-old guy in Indiana, Frankie Rosa, was arrested last week after shooting at a mouse outside.
Oh, boy.
His neighbors called the cops when they heard shots, and they saw Frankie squatting down in the front yard. He admitted he was outside shooting at a mouse caught in a trap. Apparently, he caught the mouse inside, then brought the trap outside, shot at it. The mouse probably didn't need to be shot at that
I was
point.
going to say, it's already in the trap.
He put it out of his misery. He's being nice.
But Frankie, he's in hot water because a neighbor says that he and his 8-year-old son were outside at the time he fired the shot, and he was shooting in their direction.
Oh, man.
So he was arrested for criminal recklessness, which is a felony, possession of a controlled substance, possession of narcotics, and dealing a controlled substance.
There's always more to that.
Failed.
Yep. If your partner accuses you of stealing one of the cookies they made for a graduation party,
They might be a redneck.
it probably won't help your case if you're later caught stealing another cookie. So a 34-year-old guy in Wisconsin, Daniel Barton, accused of stealing a cop car back in December, and he was awaiting trial in the case. But last week, he was caught stealing another cop car. Officers were conducting a traffic stop when somebody drove off with one of the squad cars. I don't know where Daniel came from. He wasn't the guy they pulled over.
Okay.
Is this Reno? I think.
But that guy did witness the cruiser being taken. Daniel was nabbed a little while later. He was no longer in the car. He was trying to hide in a gym. The police car was nearby. There's no video from inside the cop car, but back in December, dash cameras did capture the suspect giggling as he drove off. So
Man, it's a funny
Failed.
thing.
I just can't resist a good prank.
Yeah.
New Hampshire State Police arrested a motorcyclist last Sunday who was driving while hammered at 171 miles an hour.
Dang.
Wow. What was he driving?
He was driving a motorcycle.
I mean, like, I don't know too much about motorcycle tires, but like, you could start going 170. You got to have tires that are rated for that.
State police say troopers were conducting routine traffic enforcement when one of them spotted a motorcycle that was clearly speeding. 36-year-old guy from Port St. Lucie, Florida. State police shared a picture of the radar gun showing 171.
Whew, prepare for liftoff.
Nice.
According to the state police, the guy was charged with reckless driving, reckless conduct, aggravated driving while intoxicated. He's in big trouble.
Failed.
No helmet either.
Perfect.
Honestly, at that point, you're
What do
like,
you know,
well,
Whatever. Yeah.
If you fall
I'm trying to
off that
fly.
This head is in perfect condition.
And finally, last Thursday evening, police in Altoona, Pennsylvania, rolled out to the home of 42-year-old Joshua Jenkins after he called 911 saying his house was in danger of burning down. Now, the whole thing was weird. Joshua was combative when first responders arrived and had a hard time telling them where the fire was. Like, dude, where's the fire, man? Where's the fire? You called us.
You called us.
It's another boomer saying.
We're here for a reason.
It's in these
where's
pants.
The fire?
That's
Where's
where
the fire
is.
Do people still use ants in your pants?
Boomers do.
That might be even one generation.
I do if I'm trying to dance.
Joshua eventually told everyone that he was using a propane torch to burn spiders and spider nests outside the house.
I understand this.
There's another narcotics charge coming, I feel like.
Actually, no
Really?
narcotics. Involved in this one.
Did them all.
In the police report, it's noted that that an officer eventually had to grab Joshua's arm and escort him to the backyard after he tried stopping the firefighters from taking a hose into his house.
Joshua, you need to come back here.
Joshua told cops that he was using the torch because he was sick of all the spiders and bugs.
I understand this man. This isn't a fail. This is a hero.
That's it.
Yep.
I'm sick of it.
I'm sick of these spiders.
And if they ask me why, it's because I'm sick of it.
So smoke and a small fire were mostly contained to one side of the house where smoke was coming from under the siding. Uh-huh. So Joshua has been charged with arson, risking catastrophe, possession of an instrument of crime, tampering with evidence, and some lesser charges.
You know what? I love that. You know, like the wording of certain laws is different from state to state, different from country to country. What did you say? You said
Risking catastrophe.
risking catastrophe. if I'm going to be arrested for anything, risking catastrophe.
That sounds
you know,
awesome.
Within reason.
Well,
Yeah,
what's
loiter or that?
what's when you die?
Charged with arachnophobia.
You're talking about death by misadventure.
Death by misadventure.
That's. I mean, that is the next step to risking
Yeah.
catastrophe. That
That's
is
what
the
happens when you risk
That's the
catastrophe.
autopsy report
I
version.
call
of,
that living. I'm just
When you
living.
That's what I'm saying,
Death by
man.
misadventure.
Yeah. That's how I want to go.
So Josh in jail.
Risking catastrophe.
Spiders win again.
Spiders, yep. and now the spiders just making their webs.
Yep.
I'm sick of it.
I'm sick of it too, man. I am sick of it.
Sick of it.
Now it's your
Over
cellmate
it.
spider you got to worry about.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. And those are your Friday fail stories.